answer the call. Everybody thinks they're immune. I've been down before, I have been up at last. I can tell you from experience, it's at best momentary past. But that reasoning just don't fly. You're guilty of some sort of intellectual treason, and I'm putting you to death. Fuck yeah, get in the box, bitch. Halo's not gonna save you. Ain't no salvaging this one. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things as yet to be ascertained. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things as yet to be ascertained. Avoid my question. You wouldn't want to get pinned down, given that your argument is neither relevant nor sound. Your certainty has faded. You've begun making unaided error. Can you make a sound? Based on just a little loop, round and round it goes. I wonder if you heard me at all. You're the one who rang me up. Did you really think I wasn't gonna answer the call? Everybody thinks they're immune. I've been down before, I have been up at last. I can tell you from experience, it's at best momentary past. But that reasoning just don't fly. You're guilty of some sort of intellectual treason, and I'm putting you to death. Fuck yeah, get in the box, bitch. Halo's not gonna save you. Ain't no salvaging this one. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things as yet to be ascertained. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things as yet to be ascertained.
One of
I,
those
re-
moments.
I really like that song. It's one of my very favorite songs I've ever made.
I know you
I-
play it all the time.
You know what I don't like about it is I wish I had arranged it differently. I love the chorus, and it only comes at the very end and the song's over. That melody's great, where it goes, all the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence.
Do you still
If
have
or
it?
not they know things as yet to be ascertained. It's so like Marshall or something.
Yeah, I know you play that one all the time. But
Wow.
don't you still have the files for it?
Yep, probably I do. I surely do. And I could rearrange it and work it some more. But it just never ever seems to happen. It's like, oh my God, that guy is rich. He's the greatest. He's the best. I am overwhelmed to see him as Kato.
I don't know what to say. I was trying to say something funny in order to react to that, but
You don't have to. You're already rich, the greatest, and the best.
all right, let's go with that. Are you making a video?
No?
No, we're
Oh.
just chit-chatting.
Okay.
I was just talking about my own song and how much I like it.
The one on the beach, I really liked it.
The what?
The one
Oh,
on the,
no, not that one. That was pretty funny, though. I like that song.
yeah, I saved it. I saved it on my phone because I have the Plus YouTube thing.
But the rich, the greatest, and so on?
No, he's talking about the song I made yesterday called
It's on a sandy beach or something like that.
Don't Have Sex on a Sandy Beach.
Oh, that one. No, wasn't it in the garage? When?
But maybe that's where I made the song, in the garage, but the song wasn't about being, that's a different song. That wasn't a song I made. I was listening to some, just for funniness, I put in like R&B, slow jam, love songs or whatever.
Oh, right. Just some random stuff.
And I was just joking around with Kimberly because those songs are, that kind of music's funny, you know, like slow jam R&Bs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna love you all night, baby, all night. Wow. It's like Shorty Low meets music.
That was funny. Yeah, the Puerto Rico intro. Of course, I admire the Puerto Rico intro.
Oh, see,
Being
you see, Kato, you think you're Puerto Rican, right? But I'm Jorge, and I hail from the beautiful land of Puerto Rico, and I know you don't even say it right. It's pronounced like this, okay? It's Puerto Rico, like that. Try it. Try saying Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
That's totally wrong. You got it totally wrong. You sound like you're from Mexico.
Puerto.
You know why Puerto Rico is so much better than Mexico?
Why is that?
No drug cartels, or just like two, maybe, is all. Mexico is like nothing but drug cartels. Well, thanks, Jorge. Thanks for visiting. We'll see you later. What do you mean? You're kicking me out of here? Jorge, I'm busy. I don't have time to argue with you today. But it's a land of grapefruit flavor. All right, you got a point. Did you know that Puerto Rico is the land of grapefruit flavor?
Grapefruit flavor? What? From a plant or something?
The artificial group like grape flavoring, like in drinks.
No, grapefruit.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew sugar cane. I knew bananas. No, I don't know about bananas. I know sugar cane for sure.
Well, I can prove
And mangoes.
that Puerto Rico is the land of grapefruit flavor. And this is how I can prove it. Well, one time I got a grapefruit and the sticker said it was from Puerto Rico.
Ah, it must be true.
Yeah.
So at least that one. Was there.
What's what one?
At least that one was.
Yeah. Well, a grapefruit is a lot like a beautiful woman. You don't know if it's cool to have sex with her or not until you cut it open and section out all the little triangles. And by that time, you've done all the work, and it may not actually taste good just because it looks nice on the outside. Grapefruits have a way of, in fact, not tasting very good when they're the most nice looking on the outside. You got to get the ones that look like they're kind of like grandma's kind of warty grapefruit, you know. Those are fantastic. I've been getting them from Sprouts. You get the organic ruby red, but the grapefruit looks totally yellow, and the inside of it is not ruby red. It's kind of like pale pinkish peach. Doesn't matter because that's not what you eat a grapefruit for. You don't eat it for the outside part that you throw away. You eat it for the inside part that's delicious. In that fashion, a grapefruit is a lot like a beautiful woman. You don't actually know if she's worth having until you've already eaten her.
Yep.
I think I've had it once and it was no good. So I didn't eat more of it.
Right. Well, the other thing, Susie, is grapefruits are very individual fruit specific. So if you think you like grapefruit or don't like grapefruit, but you haven't eaten a shit ton of grapefruit, you don't know. Because some grapefruits are shitty as fuck and some are spectacular, like mind-blowingly spectacular. Eating grapefruit is something that is a very labor-intensive food, and yet I eat them all the time, even though it requires me to cut it in half, cut around the outside, cut in the middle part, cut each of the little lines, and then even after I've done all that, you have to dig in underneath, or else it's still hard to get them out. And I still eat them all the time because they're so fucking fantastic. If you know how to pick them, you gotta get the right ones. That's the key.
Sounds super annoying.
But also remember, one grapefruit is not enough for one man or any person.
Grapefruit. The more I think about it, grapefruit really are a lot like women.
I know. Never have just one. One's not gonna last your lifetime.
Okay, well, in that way, they're not like women. But what I mean by they're a lot like women is that you're willing to do a lot of work to eat one, even though sometimes it's shitty.
Yep. I want to make a video, Eric, a very deep, meaningful video for NTPs. I had a huge revelation.
Hold the thought. Let's do it right now.
Oh shit! I'm gonna fail then.
No, you won't.
All right, let me start.
No, I have to wait for the app to launch. It takes a second.
Okay.
Say something.
Yalla yalla.
Okay, let me fix the audio settings here. Audio settings. Yeah.
Pia. Pia pia.
And hello, friends. Host Eric here as host Kato's sidekick. What's going on, host Kato?
Yao Piao. So I have to go to work in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna make a short, like 5-minute video about ENTP meaning. And I had a huge revelation when I was at the gym. I'm pretty scatterbrained individual, like most of you are. And so I've been reading a lot of concepts, a lot from Jung. I've been delving into this guy, Jordan Peterson. Takes a lot of other concepts from other people. Reading Freud and like Nietzsche and stuff. And what I found is that, especially if you're a scatterbrained individual, a lot of people, they don't know whether you should follow your strengths or your weaknesses. And a lot of people say follow your strengths, work at what you're good at already. Others say, embrace your weaknesses. I think the quote goes, wear your weaknesses like a shield of armor and no one can use them against you. And I don't know. But what I did come up with was a conclusion that you need to embrace both. And think the best way is to look at your functional stack and realize that the ultimate meaning comes from your shadow. So ultimately, in ENTP, we love NE, we love the metaphysical, all possibilities ever possible, and but you'll never be satisfied. There's no satisfaction in actually learning everything, because not knowing the unknown it's chaos. But that's what ENTP is like. You like chaos. You don't want to ever actually come to a conclusion, because that would mean the end of chaos. That'd mean total order, and that's not what you like. But what you can do is you can delve into some NI, and you can say, all right, there is things that I don't know, but there are things that I do know, and I know this specific thing right here. And this is what I like this is the main thing that I like. This is the main core of subjects that are really wrapping around, because I'm interested in everything, but every person has that niche, a group of niches that they like, and get to the core root of that. And then we like to come on here and just be like, oh man, I fucking hate sensors, I fucking hate TV, I fucking hate doing stuff and efficiency. But if you take what you do like, the certain concepts that you're trying to get around your head, and you formulate your life around that and say, I like these things. I like psychology and cognitive science and philosophy and debating. And don't formulate your life in a way that's going to always be, you don't have time for that. Formulate your life in a TE manner where you can get efficient at doing regular things you have to do. But
TE is good advice for any ENTP. Sorry to jump in here, but the thing is, I heard a couple of really interesting things you said. One, that you are defined by your shadow or something equivalent to that. And I find that to be very true for every type. Their nature is so much defined by the combination of their second function and their polar function.
Mm-hmm.
So I said the combination of the second function and the polar function. So for me, it's like ENTPs were so much defined by introverted thinking and not feeling introverted feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the shadow part. It's like we may be by nature extroverted intuition, but our display nature is thinking and not feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to hear you say that about the shadow. And additionally, I note that I think the fifth function is your point of origin. That introverted intuition is our point of origin. Our point of origin is singular truths. And our destination, as you indicated, is potentiality enabling, potentiality preserving, and potentiality growing. We want the future to bring more potential options for us, not fewer.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that by and large, most people live lives in which their futures have fewer potentialities because they make choices and lock shit down. Like my future has a lot fewer potentialities now that I'm with Kimberly than it did when I was single. When I was single, there was shitloads of potentialities in that area, but I didn't like potentialities in that area because I want to focus on potentialities in every area but that.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, though, ultimately the framing is the same for any ENTP. We're about potentiality preservation, potentiality growth, and potentiality valuing as our underlying, unavoidable, unseeable frame of reference. Like it's this water we swim in is potentiality.
Yeah.
You can't even conceive of a life that doesn't refer everything back to that.
Yeah, just I think I'll shorten it up because I do got to go, and I don't want to just rant. I do that a lot, but
Play to your strength. The beginning theme. Why don't you come back to that?
Can you still hear me? Am I breaking up?
Yeah, I can still hear you, but I just that should you play to your strengths or play to your weaknesses with the initial thing? The initial to that.
I think you're breaking up, but I'll continue anyway. And then, so yeah, I heard what you said, Eric. So when it comes to that, the weaknesses and the strengths. So make your weaknesses, make your. I'll come back to this and make a better video, but I'd like to scope anyway. So take your weaknesses, right, and let them empower your strengths. So or let your strengths fuel your weaknesses. So take the potentiality, but like you said, make it mean something. So take a realm of possibilities for one thing. So whether that be family or a subject you like, and play with it as you go, you'll see that your mind's always gonna go into meaning, go into potentiality, whatever you do. So it's just how you're wired, but it's gonna go into a linear manner. So it's always gonna sprout out, but it'll go in a way that's more harmonious. Say. And then as far as FI and SE, I think we're trying to find some kind of stability in our subconscious. And with SE, so a lot of people think I'm an ESTP because I do a lot of SE shit. What I found is SE is kind of my way of tapping into SI because I've learned that I'm uncomfortable a lot. At least I used to be in the military, and I wasn't the most fittest guy. And what I've learned is conflict. What I've learned is like tap into SE by getting comfortable, always being aware, being in tune with my own body by working out, getting into meditation, calming myself down, and breathing slow. That's kind of a form of SI. You can be comfortable and find stability if you're always open and always alert to your surroundings. And as far as FI goes, that's your blind spot. But people act like, we don't have FI at all, but we do. What it is you need to, it's not clear to you, but what's clear to me is I know what I don't like. And you do know what you don't like. You don't like bad FE. You don't like when people are treating like shit or when you don't belong in a certain group. So use that as the basis of your FI. You like people. You go to peers, you're like, I fucking hate people. You don't hate people. You hate the wrong interactions. You hate being an idiot or feeling like an idiot or being the one guy who's bad. So surround yourself with the right people and know what you don't want. So even though you may not know your identity, being confused, like, I don't know the fuck I am. I don't know what is whatever. You do know what you are. You do know what you don't like. So start at what you don't like and get that the fuck away from your life as soon as possible. And, yeah, that's really all I got. I'll write it down and it'll come clear.
First of all, let me just say in response to that, that's fantastic stuff. You are undeniably an ENTP. I had my own thoughts occasionally about ESTP really early on until I saw you start to do your character clowning. Character clowning is very different than physical clowning. ESTPs do physical clowning. If they want to make jokes and stuff, they'll like pretend to run into the wall. Whoops. And ENTPs do character clowning. So it's like you're Jorge or whatever. You're some character in some little skit you're making up off the fly. Only ENTPs and ENFPs do that. And you're not an ENFP. There's zero chance you're an ENFP. So that makes you an ENTP, among many other things, including the video you just made with me here. We're in the process of finishing up. I think you're right on the money about the SI-SE link via discomfort. Because we're so restless, what they call ADHD is really a way of SEing activity itself without any other definition to it as an SI strategy. It's like when I'm not on any Adderall at all, I can't sit still for more like 10 minutes. After a while, I start getting up and what I'll do is I'll get up and just walk over there and maybe smoke a cigarette and then walk back again and sit down and continue. Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing something because my body in and of itself sitting in one place says it's got such a poorly timing belt between physical reality and metaphysical comfort that like I'm bouncing my knee right now. It's going like bounce.
That's why I always stand.
You and Taylor both like to stand. I think that's great stuff, Kato. Let's end the video. Buddy, you want to say goodbye to everybody or whatever?
Eat plenty of cheese and a little bit of dub. I'll make a better video going to be very explanation. So, yep.
Fuck yeah, Colorado.
Fuck yeah.
Perfect. That was a good ending.
That was pretty good. Surprisingly good, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Actually, I'm surprised too. I hate to say that because it's almost kind of insulting, but that's pretty kick-ass. I like that a lot. It was very. It had no. What you did is you forsook the playful banter distance entirely to be serious about the topic and talk about something that was just a good understanding of cognitive functions, was insightful, and it wasn't jokey at all. That's great. It's good stuff.
Appreciate it. I got to go to work. I'll see you guys. I'll try to write this down or think about it better, but it's still a concept in my head. So,
Well, cool. Rock and roll.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing that for me, Eric. And thank you,
Oh,
Susan.
of course.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
See you, Josh.
Yeah. You do the pen click too, Eric?
What's that?
Pen click.
Yeah, I do that when I have a pen in my hand for sure. I'll do that. People will be like, "Will you shut the fuck up?"
My English teacher used to take away my clicky pens, and she'd replace them with ballpoints. I was not allowed to have clicky pens.
Click free pens.
I'm the same way. I can't sit still for more than fucking 5 minutes. I've got to smoke a cigarette, and I ended up smoking like a pack in like less than a day.
I'm gonna sell. I've got a brilliant idea. In the Talking Finish People store, I want to get some pens that have Talking Finish People printed on them, right? And I want to market them as gluten-free. We will be probably the only internet site where you can get gluten-free pens for a while until somebody else copies us and figures out a secret recipe for pens.
That's a very novel idea, right?
I wonder if people would buy them.
If they believe we're gluten free.
This is the thing. We'll also have regular pens that are about 50 cents cheaper.
Yes.
It's the same pen, but the gluten-free ones are gluten-free. So that's the only difference.
I think you could charge $1 more for gluten free. You could cool enough.
You're probably right. I mean, look, it's a lot of processes that pen has to go through to make sure it is gluten-free. We can't take any chances. When I say that pen's gluten-free, I'm taking people's lives in my hands, their health, their well-being, because people who don't eat gluten, when they experience gluten near them, they go insane.
You need to make some vegan pens too.
Well, you can't make a good pen vegan, Josh.
What's
It's
in
like
the
saying
ink?
it's ham mostly.
No, but it's not just ink. It's mixed with something.
Okay, well,
Basically.
we'll have gluten-free pens, and there'll be asterisk says contains meat.
No fat, no sugar.
Okay, contains meat, no salt added.
Carb free pens.
I think basically it should be gluten-free pens with asterisk, very small blow, contains meat.
No mercury and no vaccines.
And then for the pens that aren't gluten-free, we'll warn everybody, may contain peanuts.
produced in a warehouse that contains peanuts.
Yes, exactly.
So they don't call it like traces of nuts or something like that.
With traces of nuts.
That's nuts.
I imagine like a detective investigating a crime scene and going, like seeing like somebody had been resting his balls on a bowl of sugar, okay? So there's these two indentations in the bowl of sugar where the criminal had briefly rested his balls while committing the crime. And
What would those be called?
this is a crime noir story I'm writing, okay? So the detective comes in and he walks over to the bowl of sugar and there's two little indentations in it like that. And he touches the sugar and he traces the nuts.
This isn't Coke. Like they do with Coke, they cut the hole in there.
But he,
Good shit.
he's pontificating. He's doing a theory of the crime. So the perpetrator came in there through the window,
I detect traces.
walked here, took off his shoes, around here, came, rested his nuts in this bowl of sugar, walked to the fridge, had a sandwich, and then committed the murder.
That was one of those things after after translation sounded differently than I thought it would.
Traces of nuts.
No, but can't you say that? Wouldn't that be correct?
It would be, and you might well see that on a package. It just sounded like a title of an art book, like a literary book or something.
That needs to be the name of your novel, Traces of Nuts.
Traces of nuts. You know, here's an example of the highest number you can get that scores in this particular flavor of. Okay, it's a title. Remember, you can probably think of other titles that also have the same exact flavor of. But this one scores the maximum points on it. The Unbearable Lightness of Being.
I don't know. Traces of Nuts sounds pretty to me.
Traces of Nuts is of the same family or genus of titles.
But you should write it Traces of Nuts, but not bring it back. You need to bring it home at the end, and not.
It's even better when it's not the food item.
Well, yeah, of course, but the crime was solved because the detective found. What did he find?
Traces of nuts. Well, I think he's found traces of nuts in 3 different capacities. Okay, first of all,
There's 3 different crime scenes.
he found literal physical traces of nuts on the ground, like little shells and pieces of nuts. But he also found the display of where the man's testicles once had been in the bowl of sugar, where he had left traces of his nuts. And then in the last capacity, what he does is he finds a few shreds of evidence that point to a past in which this individual perpetrator had been experienced mental health problems. So there's traces that he was nuts in that capacity as well.
Also,
So in the end, all 3 storylines come together to the exciting conclusion when it turns out the perpetrator is actually just a walnut.
well, you could also have him be like the Barefoot Bandit, and he could also leave traces of almonds, traces of nuts, like nuts and bolts.
That's the sequel. That's the sequel, Josh.
Well, nuts and bolts, and his actual nuts, and he's nuts.
No, the first book in the trilogy is Traces of Nuts. The second book in the trilogy is Traces of Almonds. And the third book in the trilogy is Don't Eat That Almond Butter.
They're
Okay,
traces of nuts in them.
okay, but hold on. I wanted to talk about something serious that was talked about before Kato left that was interesting to me. I'm trying to remember what it was. Traces of Nuts. My goodness.
Oh, also, there's a nut at the end of a guitar.
Oh, there's those kind of nuts. That's true. But I'm not thinking about that, and you're distracting me with that now. I'm thinking about something else. What am I thinking about? I don't know. Let me mute this and think for a second. Point of origin.
What are you talking about?
Hi, friends. Let's talk to POI. Let's talk to POI. Let's refer to this particular table.
What do you mean by point of origin? In what sense?
Oh yeah, POO. It's the poo.
Oh gosh, we're talking about poo.
Point of origin. The acronym for point of origin is poo, or the not acronym. The acronym. They're at this table here. Make it bigger. Okay, so this thing here, we're looking at the fifth function. This guy, BB, you guys know who BB is? You guys are probably familiar with him, right?
Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, this guy BB, he gave to these function spots an archetype name rather than a descriptive name or something else. So 1's hero, 2's good parent, 3's child, 4's animal, 5's I put down anti-hero, but I don't remember exactly what he called it. It's something else. It means anti-hero, what he said basically. Like, I have to look it up. Somebody turn on the heater, 'cause I'm feeling so cold.
Feeling cold too, but it's fucking like 90 degrees outside. I think. No, it's just 85. Air conditioner's too cold on the inside and it's too hot outside. What to do about that? Study the whole body chemo hypothermic tumor treatment.
Process backup opposing personality.
So that's when I get angry when someone hurts my feelings.
This is usually okay. I'll read this thing out loud. Let's make a video on this. Here we go. Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Host Talking Fin People. I'm here with the arch admin, Josh, and Ukraine Elaine. And I want to read this. And Ken. I want to read this italicized part out loud. Fifth process, backup opposing personality. This is usually the first process to jump to defend us. If we are articulating our mission in response to an insult, it is this process that we use. When people hear remarks from someone whose dominant process is their fifth process, they often blow it off before it even registers. When people hear remark, that's When someone is using this process a lot, we get frustrated and think this is so dumb, pointless. Sixth process, discovery, which syntax. One aspect of this auxiliary process is very good at taking care of other people, but not very helpful at taking care of yourself. If someone is being taken advantage of, or if we feel stuck or powerless in any way, one solution is to tie down others so that they don't get in our way. The which accomplishes this by being viciously critical of others, demoralizing them, and stopping them in their tracks. When we see this process in someone else, we might interpret everything they say as criticism. Seventh process, humor, deceiving, trickster. Another way to respond to being controlled is to set double-binding traps. If you intimidate the child, you get to deal with the witch and the trickster. Usually, a significant part of someone's humor is about this process. We often distrust others when they are using this process. Eighth process. This is the most amoral of all the cognitive processes in our head, and a person's definition of evil is usually about this process. Often, our most painful, traumatizing experiences in life involve this process. This process is often an empty vessel where society pours its influence. Long-lasting hatreds also reside here. Most uses of this process are either awkward and painful or completely phony and banal. If two people trigger the eighth process in each other, they often bring out the worst in each other. So, if you trigger Essie and me, and I trigger your eighth function, who brings out the worst in me and I in they? Oh, ESTPs do. So in other words, they bring out Essie and me, and I bring out NE in them, and we fucking hate each other. Okay, so let's talk about that by next looking at this other document here. So I call BB's description of the fifth function anti-hero, because that seems like a good name to it for me, better than any of the ones he just provided. But I want to say, I think what he said there about 5 jumping in when you're responding to an insult or something is probably right on the money. Now, for me, NI, the extent to which NI is active, well, put it this way. When pressed on something such that I feel actually insulted, that I have to okay, well, hold on, I need to win this thing. I need to step back and stop playing, because when I'm playing, I'm pretty careless. I'm wee, and then you realize, wait, you're not weeing with me. What's going on here? And when that occurs, then I probably do turn to things that are more heavily NI resonant, because I definitely become aware of concision or economy of language as a relevant factor in winning that thing. It's tricky for me to understand exactly where any TI combo with a bit of TE goal orientation and some good old-fashioned FE know-how accomplishes. Yeah, so that's NI. Okay, fine. But now let's look at what he said there about the sixth about the sixth function. He said, it's very good at taking care of other people, but not good at taking care of yourself. Spot on the money. Right on the money. I think for me, with TE, it's not good at using it for myself. I'm good at using it for other people. I'm good at helping Kimberly have TE. Or benefit from somebody around having at least some TE. I'm very good at making sure that she benefits from the fact that I have better TE than she has, because that's the sort of FE juice I like. That's the particular flavor of FE citrus that I enjoy. It's Tangelo. I yearn for a tall, rich, frothy glass of Tangelo juice. So, anyway, oh, right. You're going to go back to that other thing. All right. Now, 6, they call witch because I don't know why. Oh, that's right. If you fuck with 3, you get the 6 and 7. You don't want 6 and 7 combined if you're doing an ENTP. You don't want to get ENTPs 6 and 7 combined. That's them doing meaningful work against your feelings. The 7, they say, is what most of our humor is about. BB says, I like that a lot as an observation. I think it's right on the money. Most of my humor is about feelings. And then the last one, 8, the demon, is because it's amoral. It's that thing that he said there was so... I never read this thing until I just read it right there on the video. Very, very fucking bright. It's super bright. And choked me up a little bit. Let's look at it again. It says for the 8th, often our most painful, traumatizing experiences in life involve this process. True for me. This process is often an empty vessel where society pours its influence. True. I reject social mores without even thinking about it. I don't reject them even. I'm surprised that anybody would consider that as a legitimate evaluatory metric, except about SE stuff. I feel like, nah, I can't do. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, long-lasting hatreds also reside here. Do you think my childhood encounters with ESTPs have been forgotten? I don't think so. I don't think so. Most usually this process is either awkward or painful, yes, or completely phony and banal, yes. If 2 people trigger each other's 8th process, they bring out the worst in each other, yes. I didn't like how I acted with Ramsey last night. I turned into a fucking ESTP. See, here's the thing about it. I want to make this clear to everybody. Everybody may feel that way about the 8th function, but ENTPs are correct about it. That is the bad function. That really actually is the bad function. And it's empirically so based on who's an asshole. So, I don't know, BB. You're probably an ENTP. That's probably why you think that. Here's what I put. I want to point out some things here from the Moisley text. Let's look at what the first function and such are. Okay, metaframe. That's really what the first function is, which means it's the frame you can't modify. It's the most meta of the frames of ontology. What that means is, as an ENTP, I can't conceive of being in an aquarium that isn't filled with the water of potentialities. Ultimately, everything either gets filtered through that, or it gets filtered through the only alternative I have to that, which is physical epistemology, SI. So when I'm traumatized or injured or harmed in some way, I go dry dock, right? I get out of the water of potentiality and I go to the water of introverted sensing. And I just remember what I know from physical epistemology instead of what I don't already know, which is what extroverted intuition is all about. 2, behavior. That's what I do all the time. It's TI shit. 3, scorecard. That's what I actually care about, whether you like me. 4, lack. That's what I don't have, and somebody else do that. 5, friend. I see NI as my friend. Says there, BB says, like, oh, it's the first thing that comes to your side when you get insulted. So even though he usually doesn't name it something consistent with what I name it here, friend. Maybe I call it friend because I see it as jumping to my defense, and he calls it opposing self for some reason because it's the alternative approach to what one default uses. Because as a 7 first and as a hidden agenda FE person, obviously I have my ultimate methodologies, my ultimate goal being FE. My methodologies are generally merriment. I'm in Alpha Quadrant. I like things merry. So under normal situations, I'm not using NI because I'm not responding to something attacky. Anyway, enough about that. 6, foe. ICTE is the foe. He highlights the fact that it's the helper. It's both, right? So I'm helpful with 6. I don't like other people using 6. I see it as too much potential for abuse. 7, well, we know about that. I call it the ineffable one, the one that you really just can't get. And I call 8 automatic, which means it's like a machine that does shit that you just don't even like. Wow, I mean, I found that eye-opening reading that shit about SE right there, and now I feel it's not quite so automatic. If I think about it more, maybe I can figure some metacognitive backdoor. Also note here the second line, open frame. This is not correct. This should be closed frame. This one, you can't do work directly on that frame. Okay. Second one, you can do work directly on this process. 2, you can't do work directly on the process, but you can on the frames. The fourth one, it's mostly a frame. These are frames, these are processes foremost. They're both, but anyway, I didn't have room, but I couldn't explain all that in the table. So the point is, the first identity of your 4th slot is as a closed frame. It's a frame that you can't work on. You know you're getting judged on SI grounds at your own SI's intuitive, inherent, epistemological, I know it kind of nature. So it's a closed frame. You can't change what counts as knowing something. And it is mostly a frame for you because it's your 4th function. However, you can, the processes which come secondary are open for 4. And the processes for 1 are open as well. All right, so 5, the value is simply a good value. 6 is a bad value. 7 is bad value you're blind to. And 8 is a good value you're blind to. So just a little exploration of slot mechanics. Hey, baby, I think you're sexy. I wonder if you'd like to hear my lecture on slot mechanics. Is something one might say to a lovely lady at a symposium. Thoughts, questions, concerns, queries, complaints?
I have so many complaints.
Yeah, but what's the thing with open and closed processes? Would it be the same for introverts and extroverts?
Well, I I don't know the answer to that question. I haven't thought it all out yet, but look, it's like this. The open process means that it's first and foremost something that I'm using real time, and I'm not concerned about how it's operating so much on a on an instantiated as time objects and then run through some relative judging function process. I'm not concerned about status reports that persist from TI. So as a consequence, I can work on the process isn't tethered to its own need to stay put. And I can choose to use TI in different ways, and I can choose to meta about using TI. And it's not a frame first, it's a frame second, which means being TI sound doesn't have any persistent meaning. That's why it's not a frame, it's a process.
What if second slot is FI?
Second slot FI would also be an open process. Same thing. It's just saying that that you're gonna use that your conclusions are temporary within the process itself until you render them meaningful by first of all, of course, you render meaningful by seeing what part of the TI do they float in. I'm sorry, if you're FI second, NE first, what part of the NE do they float in? And then you link it to your third slot, TE, and you go relate to a goal. And then all of a sudden, you've got yourself a purposeful act of cognition. All right, and then these ones over on the backside are pretty simple. It just, you think of NI. I think of NI as a good thing. I think of TE is a bad thing. I think of FI as I don't know. Just be like, I don't know. Just question mark, right? It's mystery time. And I said blind good. Like, I guess that's wrong. It's just neutral. Just, yeah. I don't know what to put there. I'm not done with this thing yet.
But does it all get messed up with introvert, extrovert, judging and perceiving?
I think it's more relevant whether you have a judging and perceiving function first than it is whether you're an introvert or not. So it's like for you, TI DOM, it's going to be a closed frame. So that means everything that lands in your aquarium lands in TI water, no matter what. So it's always going to have TI goo on it. You can't get all the TI goo off of it ever.
No, but if it's closed, what is NE for?
Well, for you, NE is an open process. But you don't use it like that. Because what I mean by open process is you can in theory NE about NE all you want. You can TI about TI, but you can't TI about TI enough to get out of TI. You can NE about NE enough to get out of NE in theory, except you can't get out of NE that direction because it's all about more possibilities, so it's meaningless to even make the distinction. The reason being because NE is a metaphysical action function. It's not a epistemology, and it's not a judging function. So
but you can
in that capacity,
TI.
you can NE